Alright, hello again. We should be live, and we're back with the mic once again. Um, we'll just be intermittently having mic and not having mic, but we'll talk about all the things we did since the last time the mic was on. So we went through the last time the mic was on, we had the level 50 personal story that we were doing, or yeah, it was the leveling and Codicus Manor, I think, was the last thing we had the mic on. So we did the level 50 personal story, we did all of Twilight Arbor, and now we're at our first little uh, gap between dungeons and story since we started because we had such a high experience gain with the extra life stuff. And so we've had a lot of things happen. In Twilight Arbor, we finally got a good taste of what it was like to do dungeons with regular people on their leveling journeys a few times, and we experienced some harder fights that forced us to question what we were doing combat-wise, where we wiped one or two times in those runs. And so now we're just on our journey to push towards the next step of the personal story, which we'll get at level 60, and then the Sorrow's Embrace dungeon. So at this point, we will have realized that in our leveling process, new players will realize that we can't really stay in these level 1 to 15 zones to get good levels. So we're going to head towards Lornar's Pass because I think that would be a good place to get some more levels and to progress down to where our eventual next dungeon will be, which we can't see on the map, but we're just going to luck into, like, simulate lucking out into progressing the right area of the world. So we're gonna head to Lion's Arch and just head through there and do adventuring. You know, just stuff people would do while they're trying to level, while they're trying to explore the world, get used to the feel of the combat. So we haven't been engaging too much with the systems until it's forcing us to, and so far the game hasn't like hardcore forced us to, but it has asked us to question if we're doing everything correctly. We have wiped, we have struggled with content, we have been forced to read tooltips and read especially event descriptions and dungeon progression descriptions in the top right corner. But yeah, so we should be pushing into what I would consider the harder parts of the game now. I think up to level 50 everything's really easy, but I think this next dungeon is going to be a struggle for us, and uh, I think all the dungeons from here on out, maybe with the exception of Path 1 of Citadel of Flame, are going to be difficult, and I think some of the story quests could end up being difficult if we don't cheese them and if we do all the fights organically, but we'll see. We're also on Necro, and Necro's really strong in core. You have lots of survivability even if you're building full damage, and lots of tools to just combat multiple enemies and not get overwhelmed. So we'll keep progressing, keep seeing how this goes. Our experience gain is going to be much lower now because we don't have the 60% bonus EXP from Extra Life anymore, so we're going to actually get a more organic feel for the leveling through these next couple chapters. And so we're just gonna run around and uncover stuff and look at vistas here. We're at the German Priory.
Dragon came to me in a dream. He is not the enemy, only those who oppose his will.
Son of Svanir. Yeah, and so at this point we're pretty familiar with the map and how to look at the map and figure out where to go. Um, I think the biggest weakness so far with this challenge has been that we've been leveling so quickly that we've just been going straight from story to dungeon to story to dungeon, and we haven't spent that much time in the open world, whereas new players are going to have to do that a little bit more on their leveling process, which will be good for their engagement with open world stuff like finding points of interest and waypoints and dynamic events especially. We've done very few dynamic events, despite almost being level 60, and that's just because we've not been forced to engage with the open world to progress yet. But that, again, that's just Extra Life skewed our perception of
Did that hurt?
what we need to be doing to level. So
On the mend.
oh, and get a level just from combat. All right. So let's go over this one. All right. So this is just another. You get some bonus attributes, right? So we're increasing our base power, precision, toughness, vitality, and then it's giving us these seals, which you don't see very often in the regular game, but these are just upgrade components, right? So double click to apply to an item with an unused upgrade slot. So we can take those, and right, if we were inquisitive, we could go into our hero panel and maybe click this and be like, oh look, we have all these seals that we can apply to things. Maybe we should do that, right? You can put them on. You can put them on a bunch of stuff. Right? You can put them on our rings. You can put them on our armor. So now we're a lot stronger, just because we decided to take 2 seconds and think about our equipment panel, right? So at any point, players can do this, and the idea with this new player challenge is to see, is the game giving them opportunities to think about, to ever think, hey, should I be engaging with the combat? And I think so far, yes. Like if we look at our death counter, we've died 6 times, right? So the game has been forcing us into situations where we're being put to the test, combat-wise, and mechanics-wise. And I've actually been playing it a little bit too high a level. I've been using a bunch of skills, engaging with weapon swap and with using my shroud skills a lot, and in appropriate order. Things we haven't been engaging with are switching out utilities, so we've kind of just been keeping the utilities we've had unless we've been given the opportunity to have to really think about how we can improve our fighting. But we've been pretty lucky in the sense that we've never had a group that was just completely incompetent that we had to hard carry yet, so we've not been forced to switch things up. It's kind of just been play better and you'll progress here. And the other thing we're not doing is we're not messing with our traits very much. We've just been kind of leveling what we think looks like it could be good, just off the cuff, just natural instinct, and then just keeping it. And again, we're not going to change it unless we get an opportunity where the game asks us to change it in order to move forward. So. My strength ebbs as I wait for the next battle. Come and fight me so we may both grow more powerful. I could go for a pleasant brawl.
I'll break your bones. Be a laugh doing it.
Lethal. Efficient. Might makes right.
And we've also been messing with Lich Form a lot, and Lich Form is very strong in the core game because you get, I don't know what it is, I think you get like 1,000 precision. And so Lich Form is a great way to just
You can fight.
carry yourself through a tough fight because core fights aren't very long. So we've been using that occasionally as our like trump card to progress, and it's very powerful. I've been really happy with this ability. We're gonna see if we can handle this pirate ship. I remember this being challenging as a new player. Oh yeah, look at all those conditions. The Jetsam pirates. Nice. How are we supposed to do these? Throw it. Not really sure. So if we look again, we know how to do hearts. Defeat pirates, steal treasure, and destroy turrets. We got friends. Here's treasure. What happens? We just take it? Just gives it to us. Okay. Oh, this is a turret. Nice.
So, what did you do before this?
Taxidermy.
It's a heart quest done. This wasn't too bad. I think you get in trouble when you try to run through things in the open worlds. When you try to just skip stuff, if you actually fight things, they're not as bad. And okay, so that's another thing. We haven't messed with underwater too much. Twilight Arbor had our first little introduction to a real underwater fight, although that fight's pretty easy. But other than that, we haven't really engaged with underwater combat too much. We've not been forced to, but that's a pretty common theme throughout the game. There's one little section in Ore where you're forced to engage with underwater in a meaningful way, and that's usually a big struggle for people
On the mend.
because they haven't been doing it so much in the open world, because you don't have to go underwater, although there are lots of opportunities to. Inventory full, and then the inventory struggles have been very real through this journey. This ring is better than one of the rings we have. So let's figure that out. So you can see that we're being forced to engage with our inventory because it keeps getting full, which means that we have to constantly take a look at our equipment and see if there's anything we can be doing better. I don't know. I don't even know if that's better. I'm gonna say it's not better. These have been plaguing us, so we're just gonna throw those away. Sure. And so we're just gonna salvage a bunch of this stuff.
I was manufactured to the highest standards. Target destroyed. We have completed the task at hand.
We're getting beat up by drakes, so let's try to fix this.
Did that hurt?
Any dwarven artifacts any you
be
can
good.
find would be much appreciated.
Right, so you see we're playing inventory wars, right? So the inventory thing is really frustrating for new players, but I also think, like I said, it's a good way to get them to engage with all the equipment they're getting naturally from playing through the game and materials and everything. So if you're not being forced to look at your inventory constantly, you're never going to worry about it, and so you're just going to magically appear at level 80 with never having to open your inventory, which isn't good. So as much as it seems like it's a weakness of the game, it's actually a strength in the sense that it forces you to look at the stuff you're picking up all the time. These are Covington Pirates, oh wow. Ranger. Step on my thing. Oh, they're too busy killing the jagged horse. Nice. The Demon's Maw. Okay. This goes nowhere, and we're not using gliders or anything, or the raptor mount, so we just gotta walk. Wow, that's a lot of torment. There's a portal. Do we make this jump? Barely. That could have been bad. Blood Tide Coast. Oh, okay. Huh. That's an interesting direction for it to go. So maybe we don't want to go this way. Because this takes us... I mean, we'll want to be here eventually, but... let's go a different way. Again, I'm trying to minimize downtime at this point. I think we've we've come to the realization that casual open world engagement isn't going to challenge us in a meaningful way, and so the biggest thing on our journey through core that's going to put obstacles in our way is core and maybe story, and we'll see on the story. So far, story's been very easy. There have been instances where it's forced us to engage with combat a little bit in order to progress, but nothing super challenging. And again, story doesn't have a lot of you don't have to do a lot of backtracking when you die in story, so even if you do die, it's not too big a deal. But that's a good thing because endgame isn't just about combat. There's a big sentiment that like the game should be preparing you for raids, but the truth is that most people don't raid, and that for people who don't raid, being good at the combat isn't necessarily something they should be forced to do. Because they might not enjoy it, right? Like, so why does a story gamer or a Fashion Wars gamer or a open world map exploration, crafting, gathering, or role player or whatever, anyone but someone
like
doing
new territory.
end game instance combat need to get from the difficulty level of the core story, and in my estimation, it's not much. So it's a good thing that we're not being constantly forced to up our game as we progress through the open world. It should be more of an adventure style experience than a like Dark Souls, like slowly progress through the zone sort of like every batch of enemies you take on can kill you sort of deal, because I don't think that's fun for a lot of people. And again, MMOs are about bringing a large group of players together for a whole bunch of different tasks. And so again, I kind of did this challenge to say that, one, that the game is challenging you and is teaching you how to play if you're engaging with the systems it's putting in front of you at the appropriate levels. And I think we've proved that with our interaction with the level up information tabs and with the early story and dungeons, etc. But also just to say that not everything's about instance group content. Alright. So this is Timberline Falls, and this is level 50 to 60 zones, so in theory this should be where we're getting a lot of our... we should be getting good experience in this zone, because we're at the appropriate level for the content.
On the mend.
Event. So we've not been engaging with the dynamic event
Can't
system
wait
very
to
much,
tell my
but
board
I guess we can
about
start
this place.
doing that here. Oh, we attacked something. These jagged horrors are definitely getting us in trouble because it just puts us into combat with anything around us all the time.
That was a waste.
On the mend. Gonna bleed out.
Alright. So we did that. He's gonna go run away now. Alright, let's see. So we're actually trying to get over to this map. But it looks like that means we have to go around this mountain here. So we're gonna have to go all the way to the other side of this to get to the zone we're gonna go. So it's gonna be a journey. And again, this is just so that once we get access to the dungeon, we're not going to have to do a bunch of exploration and map progression to get there. So we're just doing it here on the leveling process. Alright, so this is interesting. So we've kind of stumbled into a sort of meta event map with the dredge here. So we're going to see what this is all about. We could end up getting challenged by the open world content here because sometimes these big map events turn into group events that end up being really dangerous if you're not, again, in a group. And we've not engaged with that yet. At this point, we might just be like, oh, all events are good, all events are easy. And so we're just going to walk in here and see how that goes. And as you can see, we are, yeah, things are hitting hard here. Again, I'm playing it a bit too skilled a level. I don't think new players would be able to engage with the combat in this way yet, but it's alright. We've technically been challenged a lot by the dungeons, so you can say that we've just, because we're not engaging with the build craft, that all of our progress has been through engaging with the combat system. So we completed that event and we got a level. Let's see what this level says about us. So we get more hero points and we get an item. So these are giving us precision and condition damage, which we don't really care about, so we're just going to pick whatever and go about our day. So we have more hero points.
Once again, the Priory controls Firebase Mola. Frajard are camped to the north. Should give us all the resources we need to attack the dredge base. We will not let Dwarven secrets be lost to time.
Interesting. So again, this map's about the interaction between the dwarves and the dredge, and how the dredge were kind of enslaved by the dwarves, and there's a bunch of dwarven history here along the Shiver Peak mountain range, right? So this is the Shiver Peak Mountains all the way down to the tip of Timberline Falls is this area, and so there's lots of history here with the dwarves and in some ways the Norn, and with the Dredge and other smaller races, less integral to the central story of Guild Wars and the first game as well, because a lot of this lore comes from the original game. Look, this is a cool little thing here. These angel statues, they're pretty. Right.
Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. In this case, it couldn't be truer. The Dredge are a fierce adversary who've been trying to disrupt our work at every turn. The pests think their citadel offers them a safe haven. We should show them otherwise.
Interesting. So at this point, we just be wandering around, and again, we can engage with we should be leveling up stuff. So we don't know which one we're gonna do next, so we're gonna make a mistake here, and we're gonna level Blood Magic. Blood Magic is it's not a weak trait line, but it's not a very useful trait line to us here specifically, I don't think. And then Buildcraft. Again, we've not been touching anything and changing stuff here unless we've been forced to progress. So we're not going to touch any of that either. Excuse me. Let's see. Sure, we'll just hit random buttons now. Because at this point we're still locked out of our third trait line, so we can't really do anything with any of the other trait lines. And again, we're not changing stuff unless we get forced to move forward. So we're just gonna head over here to this little skull thing and see what's going on. This could be a group event. I don't know. If it is, we'll engage with it without understanding that and see if it hurts us to do that. Right. So the first thing, you should look at all these mines. Yeah. And this guy's attacking us. We might die here before we even get to him.
I am dead. Did that hurt?
And nice.
Can't wait to scout this place out. On the mend.
And so you see, so by doing that last event, we progressed the whole map quest against the Dredge. So you can see the meta event in Pursuit of Knowledge. The Dredge have been pushed back to the Rift. So if we look here, we have this new event now at the Grey Road. And so new players will be drawn into this as well. Halt Dredge expansion by defending Fridgard Lodge.
On the mend.
There's a Dredge.
Lethal. Efficient. Excellent. On the mend. Might makes right.
Where's that thing going? Hopefully nowhere. Hopefully it stays right here, so we can kill it.
Healthy and hay. Hoorah!
Alright. So there should just be one more up here on this little X. Oh. Secret cave. Maybe we'll go explore that after this. There we go. Another event done.
On the mend.
So let's see what's in this cave, because this is interesting, right? New players might be interested in the secret tunnel that they didn't see and accidentally fell into. So this cave just comes out here. So it's just a throughway, little fun little environmental thing. So not much to do there. Let's see. Secretly, we're trying to get over to this corner because this is where the next dungeon will be, and we only have about 2/3 of a level to do. Before we get access to the level 60 personal story, and then we get access to, in addition to that, the level 60 dungeon. So we're gonna head over this way, come take a look at all this fun dredge stuff.
On the mend.
Beat up some mole people. Look at them.
On the mend.
That's a POF thing. We're not gonna do that. That'd be silly. So this must be the Tribulation Rift that they're talking about in the meta event. So essentially, right, when we look at Core Guild Wars 2, they kind of made the maps with the idea that the world was alive, and so the dynamic events push the maps into different map states. And so the way this map works is that the dredge are coming out of this kind of haven that they've created here, and they slowly progress up the map as you fail events in the area. And so the map can be in several different states of progression for the dredge in terms of their hostile takeover of the regions here and their desire to reclaim the parts of the Shiver Peak Mountains where they were enslaved and forced to work as slaves for the dwarves. And this is stuff we'll get into more detail on as we move through the story, especially the dungeon story. We'll go into some of this dredge history and why they're here and why it's significant and what the deal is with that. So we grab this waypoint. We're getting really close to the level, so we are almost there.
On the mend.
So here's the entrance to the dungeon. Technically we can't see it on the map yet because we don't have the levels to access it, but we're just gonna go over here and grab this waypoint, and here if we look around the corner we see here's the dungeon guy. He's level 60, he's got that red level next to his name, which means he's like way too high level for us to do. It's like, yes, you look healthy, strong, heroic, good teeth. Are you friends of the Norn and Sylvari? They went in just ahead of you, Air and Kaith, they said their names were. And so we're not ready to read all this stuff yet, but yeah. Again, all the dungeon stories are related to Destiny's Edge and their progression through the maps. And then the explorable are about the groups of adventurers and researchers and heroes that progress through the maps, through the dungeon maps after they've been cleared by Destiny's Edge. So, and us, we're obviously there for the dungeon story. So we're supposed to be return unexploded firebombs to the Priory drop boxes. Block mortar shots with Priory shield generators. So, not him. Where are these drop boxes? Are you the drop box? Yeah, I guess you are. Cool. Stolen mortar. What do we do here? We must be wielding a firebomb to load the mortar. Okay. So we can take these firebombs and use them against the dredge.
Feel the pain. Might makes right.
Some good dodging practice here. So this gives us a skill, and we have this big firebomb. And I think we can just put it into this mortar. Yep. And we'll watch this, it'll shoot this thing back at them. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe some other time it will. Blown up. That really hurt. I do the jumping puzzle? Maybe. Let's just do it. I don't think we've done a jumping puzzle on this challenge yet, so... Essentially, Guild Wars 2 is actually a really good platformer as far as MMOs go. It's got very good movement and interaction with jumping and, again, just like general platforming mechanics. And so the jumping puzzles are a really fun thing that Guild Wars 2 does well, and it's unfortunate that they've not been a huge part of recent developments just because mounts are a thing and they kind of trivialize a lot of these jumping puzzles, and I'm guessing that it's kind of hard to make jumping puzzles exciting without ruining the feel of mounts in the general open world. So we've not seen a lot of good jumping puzzles in recent history for the game. We have seen some good we're just gonna do like this. We have seen some good like mount puzzles, like the Jackal Portal puzzles are really fun. What else has there been? Races, Griffin races are cool. They're kind of in that same vein of just like a travel, movement, exploration, movement challenges. So here's our char up on top of this mountain. Very pretty. Guild Wars 2 is so pretty. And we get a chest.
Nothing like the spoils of war.
Nice. So this is the thing that the Dredge are kind of protecting, the Tomb of Morlog. So all around these maps, all around the Shiver Peaks, you'll see the tombs of ancient Dwarven kings. And so this is one of those tombs. It looks like if you do an event, you can get in there actually. But just the way that's coded, the way that wall works, it seems like you could walk through there if you had something progressed.
On the mend.
So we did the Harquest, and we're really close to the level now.
I am dead. On the mend. On the mend. Hoorah!
And if you notice over here on the right, you see the meta event, the meta progression, right? The map state information has evolved. So since we've not been over on the east side of the map doing events, now it says the Dredge and the Priory are competing for the central camps. Dredge have appeared near Granite Citadel, so again, if we open our map, we can look over here, and you see the Dredge are expanding into this region, so eventually they'll end up taking over this camp and spreading even further north to progress the event for that zone. So just a cool little thing to notice about Core Guild Wars 2. It's very well crafted, this game. Again, it's just, it doesn't fit the mold, and a lot of players aren't willing to learn how a new game works. They're just like, MMO. This is an MMO. It should be doing the MMO thing. And Guild Wars 2, of course, is a mold breaker. It's a trendsetter. It's kind of evolved past a lot of the more basic, classic elements of the genre, while still maintaining the feel, right? Like the exploration feel, which I think it does better than most games, to be honest. I think Guild Wars 2 is one of the most fun games to just explore the world that was crafted. I think it can just be confusing because it's a game that it's its own game. It's not, and again, no new player would have dodged that. So we gotta chill.
Feel the pain.
I'm having too much fun, kind of just like playing the game, so I kind of just forget that I'm supposed to be role playing as a new player. So I just kind of do stupid stuff that veterans would do. Again, so like when you see weird charge ups and stuff, you can dodge. Maybe a new player would catch on to that, but so here's something we could do. Let's go see if our build can handle this group event, which I already can tell you we can, because group events are not meant to be challenged by people as powerful as we are. So this champion Ice Room is going to murder us to death. We're in danger. So far, our survival ability is actually pretty. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's doing damage now. So there's a shot we could do this on our current build, but I'd have to do I'd have to make a lot of great combat decisions, right? Like dodging skills and going into shrouds at the appropriate time to stall out for things. Maybe using Lich Form here, right? So if we activate Lich Form, we can do a lot of damage to this thing very quickly because Lich Form's broken. As long as you don't get stunned. So I'm gonna do this. We're making good progress. This is not the hardest of group events. The Worm's got a really slow attack pattern, so it's not challenging us as much as maybe we would be by a lot of other group event bosses.
On the mend.
Oh, I dodged too early there. And a new player might be able to start to learn how to dodge like that, but if we're being honest, I don't think they would. At least not the new player, this like bad faith argument new player that a lot of people use is like the go-to. Right? I know people have talked about like players who like don't even know what precision does. That's one I heard recently. And I'm just like, I don't know if there's anyone who's really trying to play endgame content who feels that way. If anything, that means they were just too good at the actual combat, right? So if you're good at games, you might not necessarily engage with the systems, right? It's something that I do when I tackle new games, especially RPGs, like single-player games, RPGs, because sometimes if you're good at video games, you just learn too quickly, and then the whole game becomes really trivial really quickly. So a lot of times I'll just ignore engaging with parts of the combat system in order to keep the game feeling fresh and not like I'm just like slowly nuking the challenges, right? So again, we really shouldn't be dodging this much. This would be a fun little challenge. I think a new player would absolutely have died already. And the idea behind these these events in the actual like grand scheme of the game is that there would be other players here to help you tackle this content. But with the state of Guild Wars 2 currently, you're not always going to have a bunch of people around to do all these events in the open world because, again, people progress past this really quickly. Like, think how long we've spent on all the maps we've been on. We've not been spending almost any time there.
I am dead.
And so a lot of times you get these group events and you just kind of have to either do them by yourself or just ignore them. And that's a pretty common trend. Right? So again, so we could say that this boss taught us how to dodge a little bit. Right? Even though technically a new player's not going to hit all those dodges. They're not going to know how to engage with the healing systems that we're engaging with here, how to stay sustained in a long fight like this on a full damage build in the open world. They're just not going to know how to do that. And so they'd be dead here, right? This would be a learning opportunity for them, and they'd have to adjust their build and maybe learn how to be tankier or learn how to do more burst damage so that they don't get destroyed. But we're just going to go ahead and kill this. And the knockdowns, man, they're crazy. And again, we haven't engaged with Defiance bars either, but that's another thing new players could possibly tackle, is how to engage with Defiance bars, what should they be doing. And there we go. So we did it. We did the group event. Again, we cheated, because I'm not a new player, and so I can engage with combat at that level, but a new player would absolutely be dead there. They'd be frustrated. They'd be like, why am I getting knocked down? Why am I taking so much damage? And they'd be forced to either engage with the combat system at a higher level or move on to a more appropriate challenge. So just a fun little experiment just to show that in the core game you have a lot of tools at your disposal, you just have to engage with them. So let's look at this level. Alright, so we have the personal story, and again, every time we click these, it'll show us where to look to do this. So chapter 6 of your personal story, Tyrion needs your help, blah blah blah. The dungeon story, so we get a mail again from our herald telling us about Sorrow's Embrace, which is the dungeon we saw just a little moment ago, and then it's also telling us about World versus World. So storm castles and conquer territories in World versus World. Enter the mists through internal battlegrounds of sewer gates in major cities, or by clicking the castle icon in the top left corner of your screen. Press B to see your World versus World progress. And so we get a World versus World experience winning booster. And it's telling us about other stuff we can look forward to. So level 63 we get exotic gear, level 70 personal story, and then a third specialization slot at 71. And so we're gonna go and we're gonna do the personal story, because that's kind of the thing most players want to do. They're like, let's progress the story. So meet General Almora at the Vigil Keep. So we're gonna open our map, scroll out, we're gonna be like, where's our green star? Here's our green star. And luckily we have this waypoint because we are part of the Vigil and we did some quests over here before, so let's continue with our Vigil quest line.
The Skrit are thankful. We will fight hard against these evil creatures.
The dragons are a threat to everyone, Fatacha. I'm glad your village has joined the fight against them.
We're small, but we have no fear. Squid will be good friends. You'll see.
Forgel told me what happened, Crusader. I'm proud that you saved so many innocents. You've shown the strength of your resolve. I'm promoting you to War Master. Effective immediately.
Thank you, General. It's my honor to serve the Vigil.
I wish I could give you a proper ceremony before you go back in the field, but we have a critical issue at hand. People in Lion's Arch are disappearing without explanation. I need you both to look into it.
With all due respect, General, isn't that a job for the Lion Guard?
Ordinarily, yes. But some of the missing people are Lion Guard. Worse, we've lost contact with one of our Vigil tacticians stationed there.
That makes it our problem. Understood, ma'am. What area should we survey, and what should we be looking for?
I recommend you start with the sewers. That's where those Lion Guard were last seen.
I've seen plenty, but you're the finest War Master I've had the honor to serve with. Oh, hell, don't get all teary-eyed on me now.
Oh, alright, so we helped the Skrit, and so Amora promoted us. We moved through the ranks of the Vigil really quickly, so we're already at the same level as Forgel, our mentor, which is, again, we're moving through the ranks really quickly, but now we have to go to Lion's Arch, and this is kind of where the story merges and centralizes a little bit. So at this point, we've been going through our personal story mostly, so it's been very tailored to us. So we started here with the Char, and we went through the Char personal story, and then at level 30 we picked the Vigil, and so we came over to Gendarn Fields and we did the Vigil stuff. We did the race recruitment with the Skrit up in Harathi Hinterlands. And so now we're kind of centralizing the narrative. So they're moving us to Lion's Arch, and we have to figure out, okay, what's going on in Lion's Arch? Why are people disappearing in the sewers? So we're going to go figure that out. And we're not going to look at the bad loading. I don't know why the game does this now. It just kind of refuses to load instantly. It loads you in too early is how it feels to me. I guess that's good if your only goal is gameplay, but I think visually it's kind of jarring, and a lot of even obstacle objects don't load in immediately, and so you can kind of just run into a wall by yourself.
It's a pleasure.
And here we are, we're back in old LA. Look at it. It's so pretty. Oh, don't want to go that way. So we're going into the sewers.
These sewers are dangerous. All sorts of monsters could wash in from the sea. Stick together. Be ready for anything.
And, what's our second mail here? Recruiting the Skrit. Brimstone. So, we get another letter from Rytlock being like, cool, we got the Skrit, sneaky thieves, dragons. Wars won, Destiny's Edge. Some of the members of Destiny's Edge are still trying to salvage something out of that fiasco in Lion's Arch, right? So when they came together in the city and said, we hate each other still. So Rytlock's just focusing on problems he can solve instead of dealing with hairless freaks whining at each other. Funny. Make the legions proud, I'll be watching. Rytlock. Oh, dead Lion Guard. That's not good. What killed them? Oh, cave bats. So Forgel's dealing with? I guess. And music's been really, really strange in Guild Wars 2 recently. I'm not sure what they did with one of the recent patches, but music just doesn't interact properly right now, so...
These Lion Guard died fighting. Whatever killed them was powerful.
On the mend.
Oops. Probably not.
The grate below is broken. We should check through there.
And here we get some more underwater combat. And your shroud skills change, so something to be aware of. So let's go through this grate. And more nasties.
Swiftly.
So underwater combat is testing us currently in Personal Story. These things are hitting pretty hard. That guy. And this is the way we're supposed to go. So we come down here and we see this undead scout. He's risen. We're like, what is this? There shouldn't be undead in Lion's Arch. How is this possible?
This place stinks like an alehouse on free curry night.
And we did it.
What in the name of the mist was that thing?
I've only seen such a creature once before, at Port Stalwart, just before the Orion Dragon destroyed the town, years ago. It's a special kind of scout for Zhaitan. If that creature's here, then there's an undead army advancing on Lion's Arch.
Wait, are you sure about that, Forgal?
Dead sure. We don't have time to go back and report to Almora, or even send for Vigil backup. I'll head for Claw Island to warn the Lion Guard. Meet me there as soon as you can.
What's on Claw Island?
The Claw Island fortress stands in the harbor of Lion's Arch. It's the last defense against invasion from the sea. If Zhaitan's going to attack the city, its minions will have to fight their way past the fort.
My father died in battle, as did his father. I've always assumed... enough of my jawing. We've got work to do.
So we got some more gear. Equip. Black Lion chest. Inventory wars is getting pretty intense. I don't care about that. So we'll just kind of look through and see if there's anything better than what we have on currently. just go through and salvage everything. Okay, so meet your mentor at Claw Island. So essentially what he's saying is the last time he saw a scout like that, it was Zhaitan preparing to massacre a city. So seeing it in Lion's Arch made us realize that Zhaitan is preparing to attack the city, and so we're going to the barrier island at the entrance of the little kind of estuary kind of bay that Lion's Arch is in. So once we load in, I'll show you. So if we zoom out, right,
over here
here's the
are a number of
the
Asura
unending
gates
ocean.
that lead to various cities all over Tyria.
This isn't a
it's
good
the
time.
most effective way to escape
This tour
in a
guide
hurry.
is
Perhaps
screaming
to
at
find
us.
adventure, or a new
Let's go over
career
here.
when your architectural dreams are shattered.
So if we zoom out, right, Lion's Arch is kind of this harbor here, and then out into this little bay, this little kind of meeting of all the rivers and lakes and stuff that flow out into the Strait of Malcor, past Ore and the Ring of Fire Islands into the unending ocean. Realistically, this kind of this kind of region's not very. I don't think it's a very realistic depiction of what landmass would look like. I mean, it's not that it couldn't happen. It's just that we don't have such drastic examples of this, especially with all this varied terrain. And I digress. It's pointless criticism. But yeah. So now we're going to Claw Island. So the way we get there is we're gonna take a little boat ride to the island to warn the Lion Guard, because we don't have time to go to the vigil. The vigil backup won't get here in time, so we just have to go and handle it ourselves. Here we go, battle for Claw Island. I wonder if we'll win.
The creature we found hadn't been in Lion's Arch long. We may still have time. We have to find the Watch Commander and convince him to ready the defenses.
Alright, so the Claw Island instances aren't my favorite.
I smell something odd. Do you smell it?
Smell? No. But the back of my neck keeps itching for some reason.
I don't like this. Something's definitely wrong.
Yep, Risen.
Is that Traherne up there talking to Commander Talon? What do you think he wants?
Traherne, the necromancer? Comes through here every few months on his way to Ore. That guy creeps me out.
Creeps him out. I'm a necromancer. Why is he creepy? Tell me, Lion Guard.
I've researched the situation extensively. The Orions will strike here, on Claw Island.
Oh, so he knows too. How does this little plant dude know?
Thank you for meeting with us, Watch Commander Talon. We have grave news. One of Zhaitan's minions breached the city. We destroyed it, but the creature was likely scouting for a much bigger force. An attack is imminent.
A what? That's extremely unlikely. We've seen no sign of an impending attack. If there was to be one, we'd know of it.
Is that you, Forgel? Well met, old man. Are you still fighting for the Vigil?
Traherne! Ah, by Snow Leopard Shadow, you're a sight for sore eyes. With you on our side, we've got a fighting chance. I want you to meet my partner, one of the bravest war masters in my order. My friend, this is Traherne, one of the Sylvari Firstborn. He's Tyria's foremost scholar on Zhaitan and Or. I've been trying to recruit him for years.
Commander Talon, I can confirm their information. Zhaitan's servants are indeed approaching. A fleet of dead ships has launched from the Straits of Devastation. The Risen sail beneath a cloak of stealth.
Whatever you've seen, it can't be a real threat. Claw Island can withstand any assault. Speak with my commanders, Brack and Mira. Once you review our defenses, you'll realize there's nothing to fear.
Traherne, you bookworm. Tell me you've got some information on how to stop this attack.
Sadly, no. I'm only here to give the Lion Guard a warning, much like you and your friend.
But at least you've come out from behind your scrolls and scribbles. That's a start. We need your common sense, lad. I'm glad you're here.
If you don't mind, I'll accompany you on your rounds. It's been a while since I've toured the fortress.
Alright, so this is our introduction to Traherne. If we were a Sylvari, we'd have met him a lot earlier than this and kind of gotten a much better depiction of what...
I've heard the rumors. Undead coming in under stealth. Do you believe it?
Probably just another trickle of corpses. It happens.
No, I think this one will be worse. Just a really bad feeling.
There's a chill in the air. It is beginning.
Uh-oh. Very ominous. Let's talk
Be
to
on
the
alert.
Dominion.
The Orions are planning a major attack against Claw Island.
Tell the Watch Commander Talon that the gunnery emplacements are ready. The fortress here on Claw Island houses more 24-pounders than a ship of the line. We'll be ready to fight the Orions. Don't doubt that. Check on Deputy Mira. She's in charge of the beach patrols.
The Lion Guard don't understand. This won't be a sortie. It'll be a massacre.
So we're trying to say, like, hey, this is gonna be a real fight, and they're like, nah, it'll be fine. Everything's okay. We're okay. We're like, no,
Welcome
we're not.
to Beach Patrol, the most dangerous duty on Claw Island.
Deputy, a massive attack is on its way from Or. You must prepare your troops.
If we fall, our last order is to light those 3 signal towers. We have to warn Lion's Arch if the fortress is lost. In 100 years, they've never once been lit. We're very proud of that.
Deputy Mira, sound the alarm. There are undead on the beach.
If an invasion's really coming, we'll need everyone on the island to hold the line.
Looks like an invasion to me.
Over here.
So this can definitely be a very challenging instance to new players. We're lucky in the sense that Necromancer has Shroud and has a lot of ranged options.
That wasn't much of a fight. Traherne, I thought you said the attack would be significant.
It was a feint. They're testing your defenses. More will come, and soon.
Makes sense. Report to Watch Commander Talon, and tell the men to be ready.
Right. So Mira's like, okay, maybe Traherne's telling the
Studied
truth.
Orient creatures for 25 years, but I rarely engage in combat with them. Do you think the commander will listen to us now?
I don't know. Maybe. Char like war. He could listen.
All my life, I have been drawn to Or. My wild hunt is to heal the land.
Interesting. And so again,
Even
if
with
we...
all my research, we still know so little about defeating them.
He just keeps talking. But yeah, so if we were a Sylvari, we'd know about wild hunts and how they're kind of the, like, destiny of the individual Sylvari. They're like a mission given to them by the Dream of Dreams. And so Traherne is the first of the Firstborn, a necromancer, and his wild hunt is to cleanse the land of war. And so that plays into a lot of really, really big narratives and world building and design of the like kind of like good versus evil narrative of the game that they're still fleshing out, and I'm still trying to convince people exists to no avail. Again, I mean, there's just, I don't know. That's we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go into the politics of lore and how people don't want to listen, but we're just gonna keep playing our little game.
Paltry attack. It barely ruffled our feathers. Is that all they brought?
There will be more, much more. Keep watching the sea.
You're a scholar, not a general, Firstborn. Why should we trust you?
The fortress is under attack. Ready on the wall. Hostiles incoming.
We're being over.
Look at that crazy ship. Oh my god. It's got little tendrils.
Catapulting abominations onto the western wall. Repel the invaders.
Bring it.
So we're gonna go this way. We're gonna follow the line guard. Use them to our advantage. Take out the Risen. So we've not really engaged with Risen too much in the game so far. We had a brief moment where we messed with them with the Dragon Crystal in our level 30 personal story. With all the 3 orders and Gandharan fields, but other than that, as the Char, we've not been engaged. We've been more interested in the legions and the Flame Legion and what else are enemies? The ghosts, the Ascalonian ghosts in the Char lands. So we've not had a lot of Risen introduction as Char. That thing did a lot of damage. Wow, that hit very hard. Abominations. Pinned. What's up then? So we're gonna cheat. We're gonna jump down this way.
This one, kill.
They said, no, Mira's dead. Don't go that way. Alright, so the shore's been overrun. We're being forced back into the fortress by all these Risen.
Mira, how stand the beaches?
Fallen, sir. And a lot of good soldiers with them. We have to light the watchtowers.
Let Lion's Arch think we've lost? No, Mira. Not yet. Claw Island's withstood much worse. Get on a trebuchet. Dead ship in the harbor holds their reinforcements. Sink it!
Alright, so we're gonna use the trebuchet over here to attack the dead ship, because we're like, oh, it's just one ship. If we can sink the ship, maybe we can win and be free of this problem. Okay. So this is teaching you how to interact with these like world versus world things. So you got these 1, 2, 3 skills. You can turn and aim the trebuchet. So we're gonna get it to where it's kind of pointed at the ship. Do it here, and then you press 2 and you hold. And you just kind of hold until you think it's going to be enough to head over there and hit the ship. So let's see if we hit the ship. Right, there it goes. Did we overshoot? Did we undershoot? Looks like we undershot. Let's just do a full blast one and see where it goes. Again, so this is another little quirk of personal story. It's not really great that they're kind of forcing you to interact with this stuff. So we overshot that one, so let's just do like a half. Let's see where this lands. Too short. Think too short again. So we need to go to like here. This can be a really frustrating part of the instance for a lot of people because this might be their first interaction with the trebuchets and we're short again. So we got to go almost all the way full. And there we go, we hit it.
We did it! It's sinking! A small victory. Why the gods? There's so many of them.
And look, there's no way we're gonna handle all these ships. Don't really stand a chance. So all the risen are here. We're getting overwhelmed. Just all these undead. They're here in the courtyard.
Might makes right. On the men. Feel the pain.
Commander.
Talon, this is no normal attack. The Lion Guard cannot hold. We're overwhelmed.
Claw Island has stood for nearly 100 years. It cannot fall. We'll fight them to the last soldier, to the last sword. We'll never serve.
So we got killed by Risen.
Medic! We need a medic over here. Commander Talon, hold on. You'll be all right.
Quiet, Mira. Soldiers don't need lies. Retreat to the city. Tell the Commodore. We did all we could.
By your will, Commander. I swear to you, this isn't over.
Mira, the island is overwhelmed. We have to evacuate the Lion Guard and ignite the watchtowers to warn the city.
No, you'll never make it to the beacon with these risen monstrosities chasing you. We'll have to fight our way back. The Lion Guard will make a stand in the courtyard while you go for the tower. God's willing, the Risen will be too busy fighting us to stop you.
Your bravery is commendable, Deputy Mira, but your soldiers cannot survive a protracted battle against this many undead.
It's the duty of every Lion Guard to lay down our lives to protect our city. If that's what it takes, that's exactly what we'll do. We'll rally in the courtyard. You light the warning beacons. Now go! Everyone, fall back to the courtyard! Rally to me for one last stand!
Okay, so the watch commander's dead. And then Mira's rallying them to the courtyard while we go and ignite the watchtowers. So we're gonna go and we're gonna run past the Risen while these guys take care of them and light the watchtower, which is up there.
It begins!
And now there are a bunch of Risen on us. So this is what you get when you run past things. You just get everything to follow you, and then you're in a cutscene. They just all gather. So a new player would probably be dead here. So we lit the watchtower. Now we have to go and help the Lion Guard in the courtyard.
On the mend.
So at this point, a new player might be very interested in stun breaks. We actually have a stun break on our kit, but we've just been using it randomly because, again, we're not reading tooltips. We don't necessarily know what abilities do, we just know they do something. And so we're just kind of using it whenever. And again, this thing gives us might, it gives us stability, it converts conditions on allies into boons, so it's a Condi Cleanse. So it's a very good ability, but it should be used reactively, not actively, because of its stun break ability. Oh, that's a dragon. I don't know, friends. I don't know if we can handle that.
By the spirits! I never thought I'd see one of those. Quick, attack!
My eyes! My eyes! I can't see. My cornea, it burns.
On the mend.
Mira's dead. We're not able to do it. We're overrun. There's a dragon. There's too many risen. You gotta run, Forgel. Let's go. Come on, friend. Let's get out of here together.
The dragon servants will never let our ship sail. If they surround the docks, they'll slaughter us, and Zaitan's forces will grow.
Our soldiers are too injured to fight. They can barely walk. We can't form a defense and still get them all aboard.
A heroic but nearly impossible task against great odds and an unrelenting enemy. This, my friend, is a death worthy of legend. Get the wounded to safety. Warn Lion's Arch. One day, you'll come back and retake this island. Of that, I have no doubt.
Forgel, you can't hold them off alone.
I lost my mate and children to the dragons. I thought my legend was buried with them, that I had no one to walk in my footsteps and tell my tale. Now, that's changed, my friend. Thank you for being my legacy. Tell my tale at the Hearthfires, where the Skalds sing of heroes. Go. I will not fail.
No.
You may win the battle, dragon, but you will never defeat our spirit. I am Forgel, son of Kern. My father was the last Dolyak shaman. I am a war master of the Vigil. You will never make me kneel.
Mira is in bad shape. You'll have to cut a path for us. Lion Guard, follow me.
Destroy.
Hurry, to the ships.
Just looks like a corpse. Why are you carrying Mira's corpse, bro? Sure.
On the mend.
It's kind of creepy. I know we're necromancers, but that's kind of creepy. Poor Forgel. Let's get to the ships.
On the mend. I am dead.
Vacate these premises.
Let's get on the ship, everybody, quick. That's level 60, so we got another Blackline key. We got underwater headpiece.
Nothing like the spoils of war.
And we got more stuff to do. Read Almora's letter. We're gonna equip this. It's better than what we have for underwater. We got a Blackline key. And we got a letter from Almora. War Master, news of the death of mighty Forgul has been a blow to us all. I am deeply saddened to hear of it, and I know you must be suffering. But now, with Zhaitan on our shores, and the city of Lions Arch threatened, the Vigil is in need more than ever. We are regrouping at Fort Mariner to lend our efforts to the city's immediate defense. Your orders are to rendezvous there and lead a contingent of soldiers into battle. The Vigil needs your courage. Tyria needs your knowledge of our enemy's weaknesses. Be strong. General Almora, Soulkeeper. Alright. So we have to report to Almora at Fort Mariner. And that's going to be over there. So we're just going to waypoint. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. I think it'd be good if we just get this all together, all the personal story. Alright, so we're gonna go talk to Almora. You see, the personal story is getting longer, more involved. Combat's getting harder. Again, it's not difficult for veteran players like us, but I think a new player, it's engaging enough. Considering it has to meet the lowest bar of people who want to do the story.
Scouts are reporting undead just off the coast. It's a small force, but substantial enough for concern.
Zhaitan's overconfident, assuming Claw Island was the only thing standing between its army and Lion's Arch.
Then it's our job to show the dragon how wrong it was.
Talk to you.
At ease, War Master. I heard what happened at Claw Island. The Lion Guard? No. The whole city owes you a debt of honor.
I just did my duty, ma'am. Forgul was the brave one. He gave his life to save us.
He will be remembered as one of the Vigil's great heroes, and he will be dearly missed.
Forgul's sacrifice held them back, but it was your bravery that led us to safety, my friend. I am grateful to you. If I can aid in this defense, War Master, I'm at your service.
You took out enough of Zhaitan's forces to stop the imminent attack on Lion's Arch, but the dragon won't pause for long. There are reports of undead landing up and down the coast, likely an attempt to soften the city's perimeter. We need to organize the Vigil's forces and defend the beach. Come, let's review the troops.
Gently, and as you breathe out, pull the trigger.
Strike again. This time, keep your shield up.
Crusaders! Forces of the Elder Dragon Zhaitan stand on the very threshold of Lion's Arch. If Lion's Arch falls, the nations of Tyria will not be far behind. Fight for your homes. Fight for your families. This is what we've trained for. This is what we've bled for. This is what we will die to defend. We will hold this ground. We are the Vigil.
You can't do this alone. I'll stand with you.
On the mend. On the mend. Now that's a combo. Now that's a combo. Lethal, efficient, excellent.
That took forever. Alright, we defended the beaches. Amor, are you proud of us?
Well done, soldiers. That should thin out the undead and take pressure off Lion's Arch for a while longer.
The vigil bought us time, but not advantage. The undead don't get weary, and they have an almost unending supply of troops. We must retake Claw Island and drive Zhaitan from these shores. General Soulkeeper, there are many brave souls throughout Tyria who may be willing to lend a hand, if the vigil reached out to them.
True. A few come to mind. A Norn called Fibar has been making his name in the tournaments. Fights like a rabid drake. I also know two fine Char soldiers that I've been trying to recruit for years. Snarl and Galena. They'd be a tremendous help.
Those sound promising. I could go, ma'am, and speak on behalf of the Order.
Good initiative. Pick one or the other, and do your best to bring them aboard. Meanwhile, I'll return to Vigil Keep and rally our crusaders there.
Whatever you decide, I'm going with you. You need the help, and I owe it to Forgal.
Alright, so we're gonna choose the Char just because we're Char. We should recruit the Gear Orbit. Cool. I think that'll play into what we've been doing with our stuff. Let's see, is this better than what we have? Oh yeah, that's a lot better than what we have. We're gonna take that. We got a levels. Let's see what the level does. More hero points, a salvage kit, and another seal. So you can see it's giving us upgrade components that we can put on all our stuff. And we're gonna go here. We're gonna put on this dagger. That dagger is also stronger, supposedly. But we're gonna put this one on because this one's way better. And upgrade component, sure. And can we put a seal anywhere else? We can put it on this ring. Nice. So now we are stronger. Level 60. We have more hero points so that we can put more points into this. We still don't know what blood magic does because we haven't played around with this too much, but we're just slowly pushing through and leveling up the rest of our specializations. And now we have to meet Traherne at Bloodfin Lake, so let's go do that. Oh, this is a much longer episode than I remember. And we're going to have to go through, you know, we might call it here actually, because I think it's going to be another like 30 minutes of stuff. So we're going to call it here, and we're going to do this and the story mode of the dungeon, Sorrow's Embrace, the next time. So we're going to call it here in Lion's Arch, right? Claw Lines fell, poor Forgold, he's gone. Our poor mentor, and now we're with Traherne and the Vigil, and we're going to try to get stronger so that we can take on the dragon. So call it here, see ya next time, bye.